Tuesday, ladies. It's 9 o'clock as usual. These are late devos. So we are in 1 Peter 4 verses 7 through, 11 tonight. So let's get started. This is such an amazing passage of scripture. I love this entire chapter. It's just amazing. So verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Therefore be serious and watchful in your prayers. And above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. And Peter just exhorts us that, hey, the end of all things is at hand. Even though this was written, over 2,000 years ago, they even said he even was telling them back in the day that the end of all things is at hand. And a lot of people may think that, they thought the Lord was going to come back then and he didn't. But gosh, we should always be watchful. And it just seems like even now, today, it just seems like God could come back at any moment, just the way things are looking in the world. But even if he doesn't, I think that we should still be just living like the end of all things is at hand. So therefore, be so serious and watchful in your prayers. So may we be women of prayer and be serious and watchful about it. So be seriously praying and be watchful to make sure that we're praying and we're bringing, people before the Lord, praying for others around us and praying for the things that are going on in this world. So let's be living like he's coming. There's a song by City Harmonics. I know this is kind of off the topic, but it's called Coming My Way. So good. And it's just a song about that we would be living like he's coming our way. So verse 8, it's where, he says that we're supposed to have fervent love for one another, for love covers a multitude of sins. And I had to look that up. I'm like, what does he mean by, love will cover a multitude of sins? And I found it in this study Bible reference, and it just says that love keeps no record of wrongs, but forgives in response to God's forgiveness. So we're forgiving others in response to the forgiveness that he's given us. So that's what that is talking about. Let's move on to verse 9. Verse 9, be hospitable to one another without grumbling. As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. If anyone speaks, let him speak as the oracles of God. If anyone ministers, let him do it as with the ability which God supplies, that in all things God may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom belong the glory and the dominion forever and ever. Amen. Now, starting in verse 9, Peter starts talking about, serving others, that we're to be hospitable without grumbling. It's funny, we can be hospitable, but a lot of times it's easy to do it with grumbling. Like we're like, I'll be hospitable, but deep down I'm like, it's easy to have that grumbling going on inside. But gosh, if we can, be hospitable without that grumbling, with just doing it out of the joy and the overflow of love and joy that's in our hearts due to, that close relationship with the Lord. So, and then he goes on, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. So, and then verse 11, if anyone speaks, let him speak as the oracle of God. If anyone ministers, let him do it as with the ability which God supplies. So taking the gifts and using them, the ones that he's given us. And why? Why to use them? So that in all things God may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom belong the glory and the dominion forever and ever. So using the gifts that God has given us so that God would be glorified in our lives. And so, ladies, as graduation, some of you guys have graduated, or the summer's here, or, just new steps into either the next grade, or taking new steps into getting ready for college. May we be seeking those gifts. May you be seeking those gifts that God's given you, even now at your age, and be seeking them and wanting to use them and using them so that God would be glorified in your lives. So let's do that. Let's use our gifts that we've been given to glorify the Lord, and let us love those around us, and forgiving those around us because of the forgiveness that Christ has given us. So be encouraged. Love you, ladies, and have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.